Hello, everyone. I'm Shadowrock, and I'm back with Matt Moylan to talk more about the Mega Man ZX Timelines comic that just came out, and lots of Udon stuff in general as well. How you doing, Matt?
Doing awesome. We have so much going on. I mean, just adding Mega Man to our comics made us have more comics in production at once than ever before, and next year's going to be even more comics. So.
Yeah, a lot going on for sure. Do you want to talk about real quick what's kind of Udon's general plan of attack for Mega Man content over the course of this year?
I mean, so we did the Timeline series, which was the goal was just let's try to appeal to as many different types of Mega Man fans as we can at the beginning, so that pretty much everybody gets something. And we're going to continue that moving forward, but instead of one shots, we're going to more do miniseries. We will still have a few one shot things like to try out new projects, but you'll likely see like a 6-issue series and maybe a 4-issue series and a 6-issue series, and sometimes they'll be releasing at the same time. But yeah, we've got a lot of different stuff going on.
So I take it kind of like the 4-issue and the 6-issue series are kind of going to be the standard going forward?
Yeah, I mean, also, let's see. Let me think what we have. We have a 6, and then a 6, and then a 5, I guess. Some of them, too, like, they're like, spiritual. Like, we have, like X is a 6-issue series, but, if you count the 0 one. And then we have a one-shot coming in May or June, but that's really the 0 for a series. So, we are kind of like treating them as a series. So mostly it's going to be, I guess they're mostly going to be 5 or 6-issue series.
Okay. Because I know something that Daniel has told me a lot is, I wish I had more pages. I wish I had more to work with to tell my story in full. So I was wondering if you guys would consider like expanding the scope in the future if the X comics do really well.
Yeah, I know he's also changing up. I mean, we're planning out what to do for the next X series, and I think he's gonna give himself even a little more freedom. Like this is pretty much a straight adaptation of X1, what we're doing right now, with some interesting different takes on some things. But he's showing like X can get every piece of armor. X is gonna fight all the bosses, and then the next time we're gonna, we don't have to show him get every piece of armor next time. Everybody's seen that. We can just have little hints of it and that kind of thing. Or we don't have to fight every boss one at a time, on their exact stage, maybe, for future issues. But we're gonna try some different things so that we can focus more on the story parts rather than just showing here's exactly what happened in the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I know fans out there really want to see kind of original stories as well. Maybe like fill in the gaps between the games and maybe even before the games. So that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something we're doing with the free comic book day one shot this year, the Mega Man Showdown special. I won't spoil all the details about it yet, but you've probably seen it's going to be a fight between Proto Man and Base, and it happens at a very specific time, like super specific. Capcom said our initial pitch was like, no, we don't like this fight happening here, have it happen here. Like, okay. So it does happen, it could fit into a game. So yeah, we are, and it is filling in something that might have happened but you didn't see.
So it's not dual override related, it's some other game?
Yeah, this one is not. We won't get to. We won't get to dual override until close to the game coming out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's part of the reason. Like our next, Megan, tell you our next series after X will be a classic series, and that will be continuing off of Mega Man Timelines and telling the Mega Man 11 story, our version of it. And we are taking. It is going to be our version, so we're doing some different stuff with it. But the goal for that is like, let's make sure classic rock gets to the point he needs to be ready for dual override.
Yeah, that sounds cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you said that Udon might want to do some dual override stuff, but probably closer to release, right? Since it's in next year, 2027.
Yeah. I mean, actually, Capcom's been asking us for a while, like, you guys are going to do a comic for, right? You guys are going to do like, yes. This is kind of part of our initial contract. So, like, you have to do. I mean, they've called it different things at different times, but the game. But yeah, Capcom definitely wants us to, kind of like we did with when Street Fighter 6 came out. Capcom wrote for us a mini series, like the writing staff on the game wrote a mini series that was a prelude that went up to the game story. So I don't think we're gonna do that this time. We've pitched them like how we think it should roughly go, and still they're still deciding if that's the best way to proceed. But we'll definitely do something tying into the game when the game comes out.
Awesome, glad to hear. And then, kind of going back to the timeline series that just finished up. I know the last two issues of ZX and Legends hit a lot of delays at the end there, pushed into January. In your own words, could you describe the challenges that you face getting these comics out the door?
I'll tell you one. I mean, a lot of things happened at once. One creator's a little late, and another creator's a little late. Also, didn't really consider that we weren't just taking on one new IP. We're really taking on like 7 IPs with Mega Man. So, and some of the time we're like, oh, we don't know this version quite as well as we thought. And Capcom right now is very detail oriented on the designs. They are like, Chill Penguin's bottom of his foot looks like this. Like exactly kind of a thing. So we've had some some redraws and stuff to keep everything on model, and even Capcom misses stuff sometimes. But we've had to we've made sure that and also with Street Fighter, we're kind of used to, like, we super know Street Fighter, the artists know Street Fighter, we kind of just let them go and just do a quick check, and yeah, it's probably all good. But Mega Man, realizing, not even some of our artists don't know all the details of Mega Man, and sometimes we don't use we find out this is not the version Capcom wants us to use of something. Like that happened on X for sure. Volnut is a little tough to keep track of because he has really slight differences between 1 and 2, and you got to make sure the artists aren't mixing those up or mixing them together. We had on ZX, I had a mistake. This is my fault. So I gave Dax all the reference for all the different versions of Vent, and I gave him mixed in with the reference for Model LX was one art of Model L from Advent, and he kind of combined them into one thing. So I had to. So I'm like, I didn't notice it until after it was colored. So I'm like, well, that's my fault. So I redrew the Model LX to be on model to be proper. So there is a color version. I can show it. I mean, I'll show it sometime of like a half L, half LX Mega Man.
That's interesting. I guess that's a good segue into the Mega Man ZX Timelines comic that you wrote. First thing I want to ask about that is, there are often debates about who's the canon ZX protagonist, Vent or Ale. So I ask you, what inspired you to select Vent for your comic?
I mean, it's just who I picked when I played it.
True.
ZX is my personal favorite Mega Man game, although I actually played Advent first, and then went back and played ZX. But I just think it's this is like the natural end point of, maybe not end point, but evolution of what Mega Man should be. Rather than just getting the powers, he actually turns into different forms. And then Advent goes further, and he turns in not just doesn't get new forms. He turns into the people whose weapons he got. But yeah, I don't know, my overall goal with ZX is probably the most, and I say ZX because I'm Canadian, sorry, but but I think the Japanese say that too. They say ZX or they say Zekusu. But yeah, my goal with this one was I kind of realized this is, even with like Mega Man fans, there might be people who are huge Mega Man X fans, say, and don't really know anything about ZX. So I just kind of wanted to show the basics of what it's about. Like, oh, it's this guy. He uses these biometals to turn into different forms. So I didn't want to add anything giant to the lore or do anything crazy or anything like that, or assume that everybody knew the background of this series. But it was also kind of a reunion of the team from the Bravo Man comics. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that was a comic series we did for Bandai Namco of another character who has some common things with Mega Man. It's a platformer game. And it launched the same year as Mega Man in 1987. So the whole creative team, like myself writing, Dax doing art, and Josh Perez doing colors, came back to do this one shot.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. It's cool to see the crew back together for this. And I do have another question about ZX. So let's just say in a perfect world you got to continue doing the ZX comics. Since you chose Vint, does that mean Ash would be the protagonist for ZX Advent, or do you maybe want to go in a different direction next time?
Well, I think I know there is two, like, so ZX and Advent are a little different, right? So ZX is one thing happened and you just pick the boy or the girl. Mm-hmm. But only one thing happened. But if I understand Advent, and like one character only exists. Like, they don't both exist. But in Advent, they do both exist no matter what happens. Even if one went on the adventure and one didn't. So there's a lot, you could much more easily include both characters. So I don't know what we do for Advent. I'd love to also sort of finagle some way that we could have both Vent and Isle in a story somehow. It's just like, it's complicated because the lore is that it's just, it was a boy or a girl. It doesn't really change. Like, they're not both supposed to be around, right?
Yeah. Unless you count I think they did a commercial where they included both of them together.
Okay. Commercial lore. I mean, Transformers does that too. There's Transformers commercial lore.
Yeah. But yeah, the ZX Advent lore goes that if you chose Ash, then Ale would... No, I'm sorry. Other way around. Vent would appear later on in the story. If you chose Gray, then Ale would appear. So I guess that's why people consider Ale as canon, because Gray's story makes a little bit more sense for that game, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it's probably... I mean, I'll be honest, I already knew this going in, it was going to be the lowest selling of the timelines, and it's not that we'll never get back to those characters at all, but it's probably the lowest priority of like the 7 main Mega Mans we can go with.
Definitely. It is how it is. I know like ZX and Legends were the lowest selling at the time that they came out. But I do know, like, since then, at least Legends has grown a huge cult following. So I hope things
for sure
looked up for that. And going back to ZX, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the Legends. I mean, this is a series. I think people understand that Timelines was a series, and sales went back up for Legends after ZX. So some of those fans definitely came out.
Oh, heck yeah. We'll get into that a little bit later. But as for ZX, so when I was reading through, I saw on the first page that the boss Purpro called Vent a Maverick. And I was wondering, did he mean it like the actual definition of a Maverick, or more like a slur?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do, because he actually says that in the game.
Okay.
And and I just thought it maybe in the future it had become just a word for anybody who's not staying in line, you know, like over the years, like, oh, you're causing trouble, you're just a maverick, whether you're, well, like the bad guy saying it to a good guy, you're causing trouble for me, you're a maverick. So it might be that, but I don't know what the intention was in the game anyway, and I don't even know if that's in the Japanese game, but it's in the English game.
Yeah, I did see there's some like direct pull quotes from the game, which is cool for fans. And something I did enjoy that is new, as far as I'm aware, there was the what we call the therapy scene, where all the individual models talk to Vent about, his mom dying in the tragic incident 10 years ago. And it was pretty cool because we don't get to see the models talk a lot in the actual game, so I was curious, what was your inspiration for writing the different personalities for the models? Do they kind of take after the Reploid heroes that they're based on, or something different?
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of figuring people would have just, there's a delay, but I was expecting people would have just read Zero and met some of these guys who they're based on. So it would be a callback to that. I also realized once we had it lettered, like, oh, there's like 7 people in this scene. So I decided to change the color of all their balloons to be like a color to look like them, to make this easier to keep track of.
Oh yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, and and most of the people in the scene are little floating pieces of metal. So it's tough to keep track of who's saying what, but I think it worked out okay. One of the guidances I gave everybody for the one shots was to sort of explore a little bit why each character's fighting, and that's why I kind of touched on Vent's mom, and maybe that's not a great reason to be fighting. In the end, I think probably David is the only guy with Legends who didn't super touch on it because he just did something more lighthearted, which is fine.
Yeah, I do understand why you chose the end of the Area H boss and all that, because it's a tragic moment in ZX. They kind of hit you hard. That happened. It's really sad. And then you got into like the really hype part of the middle of ZX. So
and it's just like, part of it too is, I don't think you have to do them in that order, but that was the last boss that I fought before Prairie calls you and you have to go back to the HQ. So I just did that as well. I don't remember if that happens after the 4th boss, or it always happens after Purple. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's after the 4th boss fight.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, that may have happened on one of my playthroughs as well. Like, I did that boss and then I got called over. So
I've only done it twice. I played both games back when they came out, and I played ZX again before this one shot, and I played a bit of Advent again, but I didn't play the whole thing again.
Mm. So, speaking about the attack on the Guardian HQ, there's a scene where Prometheus and Pandora appear, and it looks like Prometheus is speaking in Vent's general direction, but then later indoors, you pulled a quote directly from the game. Pandora saying like, "Oh, the Model ZX Mega Man." They're kind of acting like they've seen him for the first time in that scene, which that would have happened in game. But I was wondering if they actually did see him up on the deck in the comic.
I didn't intend for them to clearly see him or anything, and I just kind of thought they landed and they saw all the troopers destroyed in what are they, galleons? All them destroyed, and just thought, oh, the Guardians took out all these guys. Can't believe they're so crummy, and it's up to us to take care to fix this mess. So I didn't intend for them, but yeah, because it's so fast, I guess you would expect that they did see him, but I didn't intend for them to have seen him there. But
okay,
it doesn't always work out how you expect. Sometimes, like people. So sometimes that's the problem too. When you work on these things, you know what's supposed to have happened, and sometimes you ignore what you actually see on the page. If you're the writer, it's like, okay, I know what happened in my head, but I didn't see that this could have been interpreted this way.
Yeah, I know David spoke about that too, where like he writes the script, but he doesn't get to see what the artwork becomes until it's basically done. So I understand that aspect of it.
Yeah, I see this stuff at every stage. So if I'm not there, like on Mega Man X number 0, I'll work on Daniel on the outline and see the outline, and then he'll put in a script, and I'll edit the script for the artist, and then I'll see it as roughs, and I'll see it as, I might, depending on the art team, I might see layouts and then line art and then colors, and then I'll go through the script again for the letterer, like doing things like Daniel tends to not write sound effects, so I'll add in sound effects, that kind of thing. Or the writer just might think, they might not think that you needed a sound effect, but once it's drawn, like, oh, this is really weird and silent, we need a sound effect here, or somebody needs to say something, nobody's talked for this many panels, that kind of stuff. So I see it a lot of ways, and honestly, by the time it's in print, it's still cool, but you're like, you don't get the excitement of a new comic anymore. Like, oh yeah, I've seen this 10 times.
Yeah, I understand. I do like the way you guys are doing the sound effects in the different Mega Man comics. I think there was the scene with the galleons on the deck in the ZX comic where it's like kind of behind them. I like that. Oh yeah,
part. That one mostly Dax made the sound effects. I might have written some of them, but he definitely drew them in. Usually the letterer makes them, but he drew them into the art. And for the galleon fight, I just told him, here, you have 4 pages, I think. Just have them fight. Here's how it has to start, here's how it has to end. Well, that's one of the things, you want to know how picky Capcom is, they gave us notes on how the elbow joints connect on the galleons. We did some redraws on those.
Yeah, Capcom's very detail-oriented, like you said. I remember when they were gonna put Leviathan into X-Dive, they like made whole new character sheets for her just so that they could get her design right in that game.
Oh yeah, for this even, they said, oh, the back of Purple is not quite right. We don't have any art for it, but it's not right. Go look at the ZX manga. He has some back shots, and those are fun. So I don't know. It might be that who drew that? Shinojino? It might be that he made it up, and Capcom's like, well, he's the only guy who's drawn the back, so that's it now.
Yeah. Crazy times, I guess. But speaking about portrayal of characters, I want to ask about Pandora, because in the game she's usually quiet and generally devoid of emotion when she speaks, although in the comic there are a couple of panels where she is portrayed with deeper emotions than one might expect. So I wanted to ask about your thought process when writing her.
I mean, I did intend for it to be that, and I think I just missed it on the art in the end, because I did actually make an edit for that on one of the covers. On the Keen Biscuit cover, he had so he has all his covers are all the girls, so he has Pandora on it, and he made Pandora smiling, and he also made I forget her name, the Model F girl, the like tough girl. He had them both smiling. I'm like, well, the Model F girl should be like tough, and Pandora should be like no expression. So I remembered it there, and then I didn't remember that I should have given that note on the ZX interiors.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I know one of the examples was Pandora's like, brother, it's not fair, so I understand why he drew it that way. But like looking at the artwork as a fan is like,
Yeah, we're not gonna get it right every time, but we're gonna do our best. We are doing some. We've done a few edits for the collection for different things, like a few little minor color edits and typo fixes, and we all missed that's like in zero. That's another thing of like, I know in my head what it was supposed to be. I know who Harpuya is and Fafnir and stuff, and you just read it in your head that way and don't notice that it's not right. So I missed it, and Ian missed it. I guess I don't know at the beginning if it was a typo or if he had the names wrong, but and yeah, Capcom didn't notice it. So yeah, but that's something that's definitely getting fixed in the collection and in digital editions. We're going to be doing digital editions in the future.
Oh heck yeah, that sounds great. And I think that's all the general questions I had about this ZX comic, but was there anything else you wanted to discuss about it before we move on? Like maybe something I said in our review that you wanted to clarify?
I don't know. I mean, you guys are spot on. Like that it's the most direct adaptation of any of them, and that's, like I said, kind of partly intentional that we don't want to do too much because most people already aren't familiar with this. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's probably the one that's most for not the non-hardcore people. Just to not throw them for a loop like in the fourth part of the series. Yeah, otherwise you guys didn't say anything that's not legitimate, you know? Oh, I will tell you, I don't know what we're going to do with this yet. Maybe we'll just sell it on the website, but there's one more cover for this issue that we haven't shown. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
It's drawn by me. So this is actually a piece I drew for the Mega Man tribute book like 15 years ago. And I had to do a lot of editing on it because I knew that it wouldn't meet today's Capcom standards, especially for a cover. They're more strict about covers. So I went through and changed all the details on them to make sure they're all super accurate, and it got approved in one try. So I'm glad about that.
You'll have to see it.
Yeah. So we'll probably sell that on the Udon website at some time as like a, add this on to your order if you want this cool cover.
All right, well, yep. When that goes live, definitely check it out. So, getting into general Udon stuff again, I want to ask about if there's been any news about how well the 5 Timelines issues have sold and how that might influence the ongoing series to come after X.
Well, they all sold. They all made money. Like their every issue was profitable, and X was the highest selling of them, which is interesting because it was, the second one that had come out. So there's definitely a lot of. That might be that X hasn't gotten as much love before, and it's nearly as popular as classic Mega Man. I think Daniel also is a really good promoter of all his projects. Yeah. So, and. It's not just how well they sell, just who's available. Like we want to kind of keep the same writers working on the same projects when we can. I will tell you, everybody except for me, everybody who wrote a Mega Man Timelines one shot is working on something right now. Is writing something right now.
Oh, that's cool.
A new Mega Man. Everyone has an unannounced Mega Man project.
Yeah, I know people are really loving the Legends Timelines comic right now. I've been seeing rave reviews in quite a few places, so I know people would like to see that continue.
I'll say that's the one that I was most worried about the art on, because for all the reasons that you guys like the art, that it's probably the most like Archie, and the least like Udon. I'll say that about. But that's cool. Everybody really likes it. I know everybody really likes the Archie stuff, but I didn't want to Udon has our own fans who are not used to such wacky stories and cutesy art. But that's cool. If people like it, we'll plan. We're doing more with Mick. So that's great.
Yeah, I think it works very well for Legends just because it's already a very stylized, kind of cel-shaded game. So, yeah, the style of the artwork just really fits the series to a T. So,
yeah, and the writing, I don't know if you know if David and Ian are really good friends. So I'm sure David has some influence from all the Archie comics, and I don't know if they talked about this book between themselves, but I wouldn't be surprised if David got some advice from Ian, because David hasn't written comics before, I don't think. He's written our field guides, the little mini Mega Man encyclopedias, but right. I don't think we've had him write a story before this for anything.
Yeah, for his first story, man, he knocked it out of the park. I haven't seen any complaints about it from anybody. It's really good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I didn't do much. Like, so as an editor, you have to do different amounts for different types of writers. So like when Ian puts in a story, you don't really have to change anything in terms of like pacing or dialogue. Usually got it spot on, and David was pretty good for that too. Daniel's also a pretty new writer, and I do a little more for him. Just stuff like, oh, this, spread this balloon over 2 panels, that'll just pace it better, or we really need a better cliffhanger, or that kind of stuff. He's the lore expert, and he's getting better, doing less and less every issue. Or something like sometimes people will need a one-liner, like they'll need something clever to say rather than just what the easiest thing to say would be. He writes really fast too. Daniel's a super fast writer. I'll be like, I really need number 4 tomorrow. Okay, I'll get started and it's done tomorrow. Because it's already all in his head. He's just putting it out.
Yeah, he's talked about before how he's got like pages and pages of notes of what he wants to do in the future. He's got it all figured out.
Yeah, that's part of the reason we wanted to hire Mega Man fans, especially for a lot of these, because they can also do a lot of the research and like get the, here's this level, or here's this one enemy that only appears here, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a big thing that fans would notice about Daniel's comics is the order that the enemies appear in the stages. That's the order they appear throughout the comics that he's done so far. So it's really neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It really does feel like you're basically playing the game, but through the comic.
Yeah. But I'm glad you guys seem to like X number 0. This was the idea I told Daniel, like, I want number 0 to want it to be the highway stage. Okay, because that's what everybody knows. Right. And I hope it's not too confusing. I mean, it's like the issue order is because, we didn't know for sure for what we're going to do after timelines at first. So, and we didn't want to retread stuff. So let's do number 0, which is an issue you could totally skip if you don't want to read the highway stage. Some people don't notice the 0 issues. But then issue 1 continues off of X timelines. And I did put in issue number 1. Here's what happened. Here's what happened in issue number 0. Here's what happened in Mega Man X timelines, and now we're going forward here, like some recap pages.
Yeah, that's true. Looking forward to it. Man, it's gonna be good. Like, if people thought number 0 was good, you guys ain't ready.
Yeah, Hanzo's working on number 4 right now. Daniel's working on number 4, and I need it like tomorrow because Hanzo's done number 3. So,
well, it's good that you guys got stuff coming in the pipeline that's already done, so that hopefully there's no more huge delays at the very least.
Yeah, we've got a few things like some of these series there might be a month delay, but we won't be like advertising it as it was going to come out. Like, we might have to take a skip month where a issue of a series doesn't come out, and we have a different Mega Man's project to slot in there to fill the time.
Yeah.
So right now the plan is to have a Mega Man one shot in May. In June, in case we don't feel confident that X5 will come out in June. Then X5 will come out in July. We'll have a different Mega Man book that month, so people can keep enjoying Mega Man month.
Yeah, so keep on pumping out the content every month, and sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah, I'm so glad Timelines is all out and done now too, because honestly, I had this idea for this series like the day it was announced that Archie wasn't doing Mega Man comics anymore. And we pitched it to Capcom, and I probably told this before, they didn't want to do any more Mega Man comics for a while, but this has been my idea since then, to just do 5 issues, 5 eras of Mega Man, and they're tied together with this Met that sees everything. And I gave that, and all the different writers, I'll put a different amount of him in. So I just told them, like, include this guy somewhere and he has to see something. So the only guy I told had to do something kind of a little bit bigger with it at the end was David, because he has to do the final, like, see all the footage that he's seen over the years and stuff. But all the other guys, I'm gonna just include them somehow. Tavis made him a big part of the story in Classic, and then basically the 3 of us in the middle just kind of had them looking around and noticing stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it turned out really good in the end. Like, we kind of had he had a part in the story at the beginning and the end. It's a very collaborative character too, because I came up with the basic idea, but Tavis named him Mixtape and did the character design for him, and then Kenny was the first guy to actually draw him in a book. So everybody had a hand in this, kind of.
Yeah, that was really cool, and the way that David really brought it all together at the end was, just chef's kiss. Very good.
Yeah.
But I want to move on to another exciting announcement you guys just had recently. We saw that there's going to be a Battle Network bonus story in the free comic book day book that's coming out. And then there's an update to the Transformers cover where Battle Network and Star Force Mega Man are right there alongside the rest of them. So what's some of the story? Go ahead.
Well, originally the Legends cover, the like Transformers homage cover, was supposed to be it comes out and people are like, wait, why are these guys on the cover? They're allowed to do that? And yes, we are. Capcom asked us last year, do you guys have any plans for Battle Network? And we kind of told them we thought we weren't allowed to do those. And they're like, no, you can do them now. Like, that was just back in the day, so you can do those too. Battle Network and Star Force. So okay, great. So we've got this is our first little project. David's writing the Battle Network story in this one shot. We have another it's like a bonus story in the free comic book day issue. So I believe it's 8 pages long. Yeah. And we have a Battle Network one shot in the works by somebody else. Can't say who, but it's a big name, so that'll be good. Okay. And I learned some things about Battle Network that I didn't know, and about some people who have worked on Mega Man that I didn't know, and we'll let it be known when this one shot comes out. So that's cool anyway. But yeah, so we can do Battle Network, we can do Star Force. Don't know what Star Force is another one that's a little less popular. Maybe just for not being Battle Network. But we'll do something with it. Like we'll try a bonus story at some point and see what people think.
Yeah, what I've come to learn over the years is Star Force may not be as popular as Battle Network, but it actually sold more than Zero and ZX back in the day, even Legends, so it's still up there for sure.
It's probably the one that's the least Mega Man-y of any Mega Man property. Like, if he wasn't blue, what's he got left? You could if he wasn't blue, you could get away with it being an original IP, kind of, right? Was there much? Excuse me. Is much else to change? But I mean, that's what Capcom does sometimes. They do a totally different take.
Yeah, it's still a lot of fun. People love it. I love it. It's really fun. But so yeah, you guys have the Battle Network bonus story, a future one shot, and don't exactly know what to do with Star Force just yet.
Yeah, pretty much that right now.
And I was also curious, what was kind of the story of how you guys acquired the comic license for the Network Boys, and how long were you guys holding on to that new version of the Transformers cover?
Oh, it was drawn that way when Josh drew it, like last spring. Josh Perez drew the cover. He's the colorist on ZX, but he's also a really awesome artist. He's really good at mimicking other styles, so that's why it looks so much like the movie poster. So yeah, we drew that way back in the spring of 2025. Yeah, so we've been holding it since then. But the story is really just like I said, like we're submitting comics and outlines and stuff, and Capcom just asked us are we going to be seeing some Battle Network stuff? And like I said, we didn't think we were allowed, and they said, no, we want to see you guys do some Battle Network stuff too. Like, okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
I think back in the day, so when we did the Mega Man tribute book, which was like a big artist collaboration of 300 artists all drawing their favorite versions of Mega Man in different styles, we were told back then specifically we couldn't use Battle Network and Star Force, and that's probably because the anime and manga people probably had like merchandise rights built in, like maybe they controlled that or partly controlled that. So we couldn't include them back then, but it seems to be that's a long time ago and it's totally fine now. Capcom seems to have full control over it.
Yeah, that's good, because I know the toy makers had something to do with the PET designs, or PET if you prefer. Yeah, so I can only imagine it was a licensing nightmare, but I'm glad to hear that things are under control now.
Yeah, everything seems good. I'm honestly going to so now that we have that, I've been meaning to send to Capcom, here's a list of all the weird versions of Mega Man. Are we allowed to do any of these? Are we allowed to do Captain N Mega Man? Do Ruby Spears Mega? Can we do any of this stuff? And it'll probably mostly be no, but if there's any like, oh yeah, that one's good, like, okay, cool, it's good to know. But before we do anything crazy like that, like one thing I have a not allowed to do right now, no time travel crossover stories, kind of thing. We have to establish ourselves a little more, doing some straight Mega Man first before we do anything really wild like that.
Yeah, that was actually gonna be one of my questions, like if you guys had the license to do crossovers of other Capcom IPs, because it'd be fun to see X and Ryu throw Hadoukens together. Funny stuff like that.
Yeah, I have a moratorium on that for our first 2 years of comics at least. So we're a year in. but I definitely don't want to do any I want to just have some, right, like we got to have our X series, we got to have a classic series, some more series, before we get into the really crazy ideas like that. Because I mean, if we haven't done them, then what are we crossing over? We haven't already done our versions of them.
No, that's a good idea, to establish yourselves, really show the value of Mega Man before you start throwing in other IPs.
Yeah, and honestly, really important has been the Mega Man fan community, so guys like you, because it doesn't exist as much for, there's a Street Fighter fan community, it's not as, it's not as rabid as you guys. You guys are very excited and spread the word about everything all the time, which is great. So that's been a big help, I think, in getting the word out about all these comics, especially when something's confusing, like, oh, what order do the different Mega Man X comics happen in? You guys have gotten that word out for us. Wicked. So cool. Thanks for all that.
You're welcome. Thank you for making all this cool content for us to digest. So we talked about Battle Network and Star Force. So what else does Udon kind of have on the horizon coming up? I heard about Mega Man Adventures and Little and Mr. Mega Man. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so let's do Little and Mr. Mega Man. It's pretty easy. That is 2 manga series by the same creative team. I have them here. Yushi Kawada and Yukito are the 2 guys that do it. So they both do both series. So Little Mega Man is kind of a comedy series. It's still like adventures and stuff. Like there's some action and things, but some of the characters are really wacky. Like Bad Box Art Mega Man. I don't have number 1 here. Bad Box Art Mega Man is a character in the series. Oh, you can see here. This is European Mega Man, who's a character in the series. They're all like separate guys.
Yeah.
European Mega Man speaks in French. Bad Box Art Mega Man only has 1 pose. Every panel he's in is the same pose, the pose from the cover of the box art. And Mega Man's running across silly new robot masters, like I think the one guy's name is Comfort Man. He's like a big mattress. Who's in this one? Conveyor Sushi Man, Plasma TV Man. So all these wacky new robot masters. And they're both 3-volume series. The other series is Mr. Mega Man. This is what if Mega Man grew up and Dr. Wily's out of the picture, so Mega Man doesn't have to be a fighting robot anymore. So Mega Man decides to become a dentist. And all the other all the robot masters come to him with their life problems. Like Starman's a social media influencer, and Cutman is like a barber, and Woodman is a he's being worshipped as like a deity at the Arboretum, I think. That kind of stuff. They all come to him like, I'm not happy with my job, what should I do? That kind of stuff. Anchor's in it, who's like, I don't know what to do now, I'm just designed to kill you, what am I supposed to be doing? That kind of stuff. So it's kind of somber and kind of also silly at times. And it's slowly building to some big action. So we've released 2 volumes of each series so far. The 3rd volumes we are working on now. And that'll be the whole series. Udon usually does just short series for manga. The other thing you asked about was adventures, right? So yes. Mega Man Adventures Volume 1 collects the first 12 issues of the Archie comics in a nice oversized hardcover. And that's coming out at the end of May this year. And we did a campaign for it on the website Zoop, which is like a crowdfunding campaign just for a crowdfunding website just for comics. But we didn't really do it for the crowdfunding reason. We just wanted to try out a new platform. And the guys at Zoop actually hooked us up with Archie in the first place to work out getting all the files. So cool. We wanted to do a project with them. But you can also, that was just for the deluxe edition. You can also order it from Amazon and get the normal edition, which is the same book. It just doesn't have a foily cover. And we had some extras like some trading cards and a poster and things like that. But yeah, we're going to collect the whole series in 4 volumes, about every 6 months or so, a new volume. The one thing we can't collect right now is the Sonic crossover. We do plan, we have like talked to the IDW guys about some other projects here and there, so kind of casually mentioned it. So we'll talk to them some more and see if we can work that out. There's 2 main issues. One is the amount of stakeholders in a project like that. So we have to get everybody on the same page. Udon, Archie, IDW, Capcom, USA and Japan, Sega, USA and Japan. And we know all those people, but we all have to agree to do this.
Yeah.
And the second thing is we don't really know what Sega's current attitude is towards any of the Archie comics. Now, the first crossover, as I understand, is pretty much kind of a neutral on the Sonic end. Is kind of a, this is like generic Sonic. You don't like, it's not. It is. They say it's from the comics, but there's no comic stuff in there. It's just like the general Sonic game characters. And the second one is Super, has lots of Archie stuff related in it. And I think they used it as their catalyst for rebooting their universe, due to a bunch of legal issues with some of the characters. So I don't know if Sega is even like, no, you can never republish any Archie stories ever, or what. But it's something too that we'll definitely explore after a couple of these Adventures volumes come out.
Yeah, but it's at least nice to know that we're gonna have the other, like, the Mega Man only parts of Archie actually collected. Because I know, like, when it kind of got to the end of life, the comics started to get harder to find. So that's gonna be good to have.
Yeah. Plus, Ian came back and did new short stories for every volume. So like 6-page stories at the back of every volume. The first one, although the first volume he misnumbered his script and accidentally wrote 7 pages, so I just like, okay, whatever. That the first one is 7 pages long. And yeah, they all take place. So they're all at the end of each volume, and they all take place right there. Like the first one comes at it's in the book after issue 12, so it takes place after issue 12. And the next one will take place after issue, I don't think it's 24. I think there was an issue that came later or something. Anyway, whatever issue comes at the end of volume 2, then the bonus story happens too.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds really exciting. Yeah, Mr. and Little Mega Man is really fun. I think people should definitely check that out, as well as if you haven't checked out the Archie comics before, now you have your chance of Mega Man Adventures. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I do want to know if people are interested in does anybody want the Dreamwave comics collected? Because we could do that too. They're just a little weird. They're not super on brand for the classic Mega Man. But I worked on those back in the day. Like, I was at Dreamwave when we did those. But the writer, unfortunately, I think he kind of mixed up Mega Man and Astro Boy a little bit.
It happens. But no, that sounds really interesting to do if you guys ever decide to do it. I mean, I know Mick is currently doing like the Legends Timelines artwork and stuff, so he worked on Dreamwave too, so people could kind of see the origins there a little bit.
Yeah, and plus Patrick Spazianti's first Mega Man work was at Dreamwave. He did the last issue of that series.
Nice. There you go. And another book I wanted to ask about, because we talked about it last time. You said that you were debating whether to get it colored or not, but it's Mega Man X Mega Missions. Is there been any updates about that?
Well, it's something we need to get back to. We have actually gotten a bunch of other Ariga stories colored. So, like, we've continued. We haven't solicited any of this, but we have like 4 issues worth of Ariga comics colored to release under the Master Mix title. So that's just more of the classic Mega Man stories. We are... I don't know what to say. We are deciding what we should do first. We have the opportunity to do it both ways, black and white or color. I think more likely you're going to see the black and white first.
Okay.
But we don't have a full announcement related to classic Mega Man manga right now, but something's coming, and we're really close to something. And yeah, but I think you'll see that story in black and white first.
Okay. It's still going to be really cool to see for Rex fans, and the Master Mix stuff. It sounds really exciting too.
Yeah, I might have mentioned this before too, but we did Master Mix at the time to just sort of try to introduce people to the Ariga manga universe, because people were reading the Archie comics and like, well, maybe they just aren't willing to try out something in a manga shape, let's put it in a comic book shape for them and make it color so it looks like a comic, and then maybe they'll try out this universe too.
Yeah, I agree. Should be really, really cool. And then there was one other thing you guys announced a while ago. The official complete works that kind of has all the other Mega Man stuff in it. Is there been any updates about that, or are you guys waiting for Dual Override at this point?
No, we actually have that book largely done, and now we're going back to Capcom to see, like, okay, we have a good book, but we know there's some of this other stuff that we don't have. Is any of this available? Like some, rare sketches and this art from whatever, a soundtrack and that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to make it the best book that we can right now. But I would hope that we can put that out either the end of this year or early next year.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and we'll also, I don't know what Capcom wants to do with Dual Override for an art book. They might want to do some collector's edition that has an art book in it, but they definitely know that we're interested to, if you want to do a whole art book or, include all the art in the collection for if we do it when we do a comic series. So they know we want to do that kind of stuff, but I think it's still too early for exactly what they want to do with the collecting the art from that game.
Awesome. Well, it's good to know that it's well underway and coming soon. Looking forward to that. And there's a couple more questions to end things off. So you mentioned earlier that you guys are going to be doing digital copies, and that's great because I know there's a lot of overseas fans out there that just don't have access to local shops, and maybe the online store can't ship to their country. So, what are you guys doing to address those concerns?
Well, we're partnering with Neon Ichiban, which is a digital comics platform. I mean, you can get, I think most publishers are there now. And we'll also look after that at should we move things over so they're also available on other stuff like Kindle. It's a bit complicated because we have two. Neon Ichiban is our comic partner, and Simon & Schuster is our digital book partner. So, for example, we can't put collected editions on Neon Ichiban and can't put single issues on the stuff Simon & Schuster is doing. So we'll have two ways in the future to get digital comics of Udon stories. But yeah, that's kind of the point. Is we know some people can't get to a comic store. The worry has also always been piracy. The Udon stuff is not pirated very much because we don't do digital editions.
Right.
And over the years, American comic pirates have gotten super lazy and they just don't do it if there's not a digital edition. But now that there is, we kind of expect that to happen. So, but hopefully the new people coming will offset that and we won't have to worry about it so much.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And then for the very last question, there are Mega Man artists out there who might be interested in maybe doing a cover sometime. What would you give advice? What kind of advice would you give to them if they want to get into contact with you to do a potential collaboration? The easiest way to get in touch with me publicly is either through like the Udon Twitter or my personal Twitter. It's just Lil Formers. And just like ping me. Here's my portfolio. I love drawing Mega Man. Or even if you haven't drawn Mega Man, just here's my portfolio. I think it'd be good for this. Maybe I'll do an open call. Like I do that once in a while. Just if you think you're good enough to work for Udon, just reply with a link to your portfolio here or some samples of your work. Because we're always looking for new people. A lot of Udon people have been hired through when we did like fan art contests over the years. Like Genzo Man, who's one of our painters, we hired him that way. Edwin, who did the Mega Man X Timelines one shot, he did. We knew about him due to his fan art before we actually hired him. So yeah, just
I mean, covers is a hard thing to get, but if you're really good, you might want to use it for a cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the sweet gig doing the covers.
Right.
And I know it's been a bit of a learning curve for, I think, the Mega Man fans, because Archie did like one cover, maybe a second cover sometimes.
Yeah.
But the Udon kind of standard is 2 or 3 regular covers, an incentive cover, which is like retailers order 5, they can order this incentive cover and sell it for more expensive. Maybe a blank sketch cover, and then also 1 or 2 exclusives on our website. That's worked out really good. And it's just that there's a collector market for comic covers right now. And it has been for years, and it's not even that there are people trying to resell them, it's that people want their art on a comic book these days. I don't know if I've used this example with you, but there's a Futurama episode where they go to a museum or art gallery and all the paintings are painted on fat guys' bellies. And they're just like, that's where people like their art in the future. They like it on fat guys' bellies. Like, okay, so right now people like their art on a comic book. Even if they're not going to read the comic book, they just like to collect art on a comic book. So that's why we have so many different covers and that's why they don't always relate to the story. We just want to do some fun stuff that makes a good piece of art sometimes. But I think the Mega Man fans are getting adjusted to that and knowing, I don't have to buy them all, or, these are different covers for the same issue. I understand, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And in the end, if you can wait for the hardcover, we'll collect all of those covers in the hardcover collection.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. So if someone does miss out, they at least have the hardcover to look forward to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that about wraps everything up. Matt, I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me about everything going on with Udon.
No problem. If I can say one more thing about Free Comic Book Day. So, while Free Comic Book Day doesn't happen until May, retailers have to order by the first week of February with comics. So, and we always hear, because we have kind of a different crowd, like a video game crowd, are looking for our comics at comic stores. They might not go into comic shops every day. If you want your local comic shop to have Mega Man there, then before the end of the month, go and tell them, I'm going to come back on Free Comic Book Day for Mega Man. Please order it. Because they don't order different shops who participate in Free Comic Book Day might not all order every book. They might have different crowds. And it's not free for them. It's not free for us to make them, and it's not free for the shops to order them. They pay like 25 cents a book to get the books. Just way cheaper than regular comics, but still it's not zero. So they do want to know what people are going to be coming in for. And they especially love people like the Mega Man people who are coming into their stores to get this one shot, because you're not usually there. That's the whole point of the event, is to get new people to come and see the store. So yeah, if you want your local comic shop to have Mega Man copies of Mega Man Showdown Special, then let them know that you want them there by the end of January.
All right, well, you heard them, guys. Get started. All right, well, once again, thank you, Matt, for talking about all this. I learned a lot. I'm sure everyone else at home learned a lot as well, and we're looking forward to what you guys got cooking in the future. It's looking really good.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Definitely. And for those of you at home, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned to ShadowRockZX for all things Mega Man as always. Until then, rock on and have a great day.